Alright, this is going to be my first review. I'm going to try and run through these things pretty quick here for everybody, so we can get them done pretty quick. I do my laptop kind of right below the camera, so don't be surprised if I'm looking down. That's kind of what I'm looking at when I'm going through this stuff here. The first album, as the title states, it was Within the Ruins, Halfway Human, which is a fucking awesome record. I highly recommend it to anybody who's into the into metal. I don't know, I really can't, there's some maybe old school metalers that just wouldn't like it because it just doesn't have a very old school vibe. It's very tight and mechanical, but it's super melodic, so I don't know, I can't fault it because I love melody, but if you're not a big melodic guy and you just like the heavy-ass Cannibal Corpse, this isn't it, but it's still pretty good, so I would definitely check it out here. I do have some just breakdowns of each individual track, things I liked, things I didn't like, so I'm going to run through that here real quick. This is for people who haven't actually listened to the CD and they're just kind of curious as to what the songs are like, or maybe they've never heard Within the Ruins before, so I'm going to give some descriptions verbally, not necessarily that they're going to be the greatest, but I'll give it a quick run through. So the first track on the record is called Shapeshifter. It has, if you've ever heard Within the Ruins, this is like a classic sounding track. This is the kind of track that we've come to expect from Within the Ruins. Lyrically, it's a bit on the static side for me. Not great, but not bad. Just not as much, to go off of. It's a little too cryptic for me. There's not a whole lot of like direct substance that I really liked from it. It did have some really killer grooves in it though, and that's one thing about this band that you're probably going to hear through most of the tracks. Is there's at least one badass groove in almost every track. Even the ones that I'm not a huge fan of, there's almost always one. They do get a little cliche at times, a lot of that deathcore type stuff where just like super low tempo, like boom, boom, and just, it's not always gold, but there's a lot of gold in there, so I definitely, if that's something that turns you off, I would not just skip this record because it does that sometimes. There's good and bad things about many records, and you should try to listen to as much as you can. I mean, that's what I do. Especially if you're a musician, it doesn't make any sense to turn off possible inspiration. It's just silly. The second track here is called Death of a Rock Star. This one's way more thrashy than the first track, and a lot of the other tracks. Has some really good grooves. Overall, the lyrics in it are a bit cliche. Not my thing. Once again, the chorus is a bit of a twinkle twinkle little star feel. Solo was badass and fit well. He has this thing where he solos and he's a crazy good guitar player, like exceptionally good guitar player, but he always works melody in there, and that's something that I think a lot of guitar players in the death metal forget about. It's turned into this whole like technique, my dick's bigger than yours stupid fucking argument, and I'm tired of it. I like melody, I like things that are memorable. I don't care how fast you can play or how difficult your guitar solo is. If nobody fucking likes what it sounds like, it's garbage. No matter what you did. So you need to think about that when you're writing music. These guys do that. It's very memorable. It sounds great. He just always does a great job with them. I can't fault them ever for their lead work. The lead work is always exceptional. As far as the third song on the record here, it's called Beautiful Agony. This is a really average song for them. Once again, kind of on the beating path. Has a very groove-driven guitar line and drums. It's well written overall. I do like the chorus of this song, and the clean singing. Some people, it's going to turn them off because they don't really do that, but they started doing it on this record. For me, it does have that metalcore sound, but it fits. It makes sense. It's not like it's out of place. It does make sense. Lyrically, once again, a bit cliche. It's kind of cool because it basically has a little bit of a love song, but in the same fact, it's more about a love affair and lust and stuff like that, and that's not really, it's not really my my cup of tea there. This would be something, you know, if I had to rate these tracks, you know, on whether or not I'd listen to them again. I'd say the first one I probably wouldn't skip. The second one, Death of a Rock Star, I definitely am probably going to skip on repeat listens. And then this one would be very mood dependent. There was really good points in the song, but, you know, the solo is one of the reasons why I wouldn't skip it, because the solo in this song is fucking amazing. It's a really good solo. Very well written. Fourth song is called Incomplete Harmony. This is my favorite track on the entire record. The dynamics are there. The riff just kills right at the beginning. And all the way through, you know, it's really good. This is the djenty goodness, I guess. You know, some people might not consider this djent, but this is djent to me. This is, it's got that groove. It's got that off time. It's got that that feel that was created by Meshuggah, refined by Periphery, and then kind of taken down different journeys where there's a lot of copycats that are trying to sound like those two bands, and they just don't do it well. These guys take it and they do their own thing with it, much like Animals as Leaders did, right? They took it and they kind of do their own thing with it, and that's really what makes them their own thing. They don't sound like other people, and you know, the moment Within the Ruin starts playing and you hear those guitars, I mean, the vocals are kind of cliche, but you hear those guitars, you know exactly who it is. Pretty darn quick. Let's take a look at my notes here. Lyrics are really good in this one. This is the one that's kind of about like mundane life and working almost like a construction job and being worn out and broken down. About 3 minutes inside of the song hits the coolest part of the whole album for me. Somewhere between a salsa, techno, reggae, and groove metal. I mean, it's just, this is why it's one of my favorite songs on the record. Definitely check this song out. If this is one, you know, you're kind of curious about the album, this would be the song I would recommend to check out, because this is probably my favorite song on the record here. The next track is called Bittersweet. This is more on the melodic death metal side, has some nasty grooves in it. It's very well written, interesting changes in parts. Some of the other songs at the beginning of the record, more dynamic range, and some awesome sections of highly affected guitar. But I can't tell if it's delay or a bit of tremolo. So they do a lot of this interesting lead work where he will use an effect to kind of give it almost like an electronic sound. And I don't like electronic music, but I do like it when a human being plays it. So when a human being plays it, I can definitely get behind that, especially if it's guitar line, you know, where there's like vibrato or bends, or, you know, that's way more interesting to me. Next track is Objective Reality. This is definitely a listen to me. The last one was definitely a listen. Last two, excuse me, were definitely listens. The seventh track here, let's go back to Objective Reality. Objective Reality was a weird track. I mean, it showed a lot of expansion vocally, and I wasn't quite ready for it. Kind of caught me off guard a little bit. That's also in the chorus. It's well written, but a bit repetitive on some parts. Sounded like your typical, you know, Within the Ruins. Not a bad thing, but nothing notable to me here. Solo is awesome. I mean, there's a lot of great solos on this record, you know, and a lot of times that'll catch you and bring you back in here for repeat listens. Absolution had a very inventive riff for the intro. It's the next track here. Overall, an awesome track. Lyrics a bit blah blah blah, but the music is so fucking cool. He can literally say anything, and you know, you'll still listen to it. It's still a pretty badass song. At about 1:06, there's a badass groove, so definitely check that out there. It's definitely a listen. Ivory Tower is very, very heavy. Has a really cool intro, which is another thing that they do really well, is write amazing intros. The riff's pretty scootin'. Solo, once again, amazing. Can't complain about that. Sky Splitter, you know, track 9, once again, amazing track. Very melodic chorus, a few turnarounds which keep the verse moving. Lyrically, a bit of a love song, again, of course. It's a dark one, but still, nonetheless, it is one. Solo is great again. It's very identifiable. You know, none of the grooves got me in this song, but the chorus is very memorable, and the trippy vocal section has a pretty awesome feeling during the outro there. Station 4 is an instrumental. Okay, that one is great. I love instrumentals. Very groovy, great riffing. I mean, I think that's probably some of their strongest points is when they just focus on the music and kind of cut the vocals out. As much as people probably love the vocalist, I can take it or leave him. I mean, he kind of sounds like a lot of other vocalists out there, so he doesn't really do a whole lot for me as far as like uniqueness. Treadstone has a bit of a cliche rhythm to it, kind of what you'd expect from like a deathcore band. So that's definitely one that, you know, not a huge fan of. Lyrically, it was mildly interesting. Solo, once again, fucking amazing. Their solos are great. Overall, this album's really good. I would buy it regardless, just because of the guitar porn in it. So the guitar porn is fucking amazing. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. He's writing great riffs, great grooves, great leads, and great solos. So even if you don't like the vocals, even if you don't like the deathcore sound, this is still a band I would check out because it'll probably catch you off guard, especially during the instrumentals. Anyways, guys, that's as fast as I could do it. You know, I'm going to try and condense these things a little bit more, not maybe ramble on so much about each, you know, track. Just kind of give you an overall and then my favorites. But this is definitely a buy for me. You know, if I had to rate it, the rating is buy, borrow, or never listen. This is definitely a buy. I don't regret buying it at all. So, alright guys, till next time, later.